Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of the Quantum Alchemy Podcast. So today we have special guest Rosalia. And Rosalia is a nurse practitioner, spiritual leader, author, speaker, and breathwork facilitator. She specializes in quantum alchemy, psychospiritual therapy, trauma and addiction transformation, spiritual awakening integration, and the subconscious mind through her method, the Zebra guided self-healing, alchemy, and transformation method. Amongst other courses and offers she provides through her platform, Quantum Alchemist Master. I had to have her come on the show because, as you guys know, I am consistently always praising quantum alchemy, and it seems like she's a quantum alchemist. So, Rosalia, welcome onto the show.
Thank you so much, Bianca. I appreciate you having me on here. And just out of curiosity, if you don't mind me going off here a little bit, how did that name come of your podcast to you?
Personally, it was through meditation. I had done a breathwork session and I was like, I needed to rebrand. So my original name for my podcast last year, it just wasn't in alignment anymore. And through meditation, it just came to me. I said, how can I find what name what name technically can I use to bring together everything that we use, all of the modalities, everything that we use that encompasses all of the experiences that we have as human beings here on earth, and how do we use that to integrate that into our lives? And like through meditation, it just came to me. It was like, well, we work in the quantum and we alchemize. So quantum alchemy. And that is exactly what happened. That's exactly how it came to
That
be.
sounds beautiful. I asked because mine is the same thing. It came through breathwork and meditation, and the same thing. And it's really just empowering others to become their own alchemist. And that's what my second book is about also. So yeah, I just wanted to hear a little bit of a backstory because it's very similar to mine as well. So I was just curious how I came to you.
Yeah. So please grace us with the story of your journey. How did all of this came to be for you?
So I'll start with, I was born and raised in Cuba, came to Miami, Florida in the year 2000, and I've been living here ever since. 2018, I had been in healthcare for a while now. I've been in healthcare for over 10 years now. I'm a nurse practitioner, like you mentioned previously, and 2018 just got to a point where I was very dissatisfied with everything. I was at the top of the career, top of the salary. I was married, the kids, the house, everything else. And I just it was this big void, right? Like this big missing piece inside of my soul. Um, and I was not aware at that time about, I had been through many religions, kind of looking for God or source outside of myself for a long time. Um, and I hadn't quite found anything, and I got into a very deep depression, where I just couldn't honestly find purpose in the morning. Like it got to that point. So I had suicidal thoughts at that time. Um, and I just said, well, I really have or at that time, sometimes we get blindsided and we see very few options when you're in that kind of frame of mind. And I said, well, I can either give up or find a solution. Those were the only two, I was like against the wall. And I said, well, okay. So I started doing a lot of energy work, breath work, somatics, and just Akashic Records. Anything I could get my hands on. Tarot. I mean, I went down the rabbit hole, as we say, and I just went all in. I was like, well, at least there's got to be something else to life than what I originally, or the original programming we have from, either from when we're children, from society, from our parents, from whatever we're carrying that programming. And then I said, well, there's that. So that's good. And then in 2022, I had a near-death experience, and that just shifted my entire life perception of life, of why I am here. And, part of my mission of my soul, and just to, a lot of remembrance of who I am, why I'm here, what I'm here to do. A lot of the same questions I was asking myself, I just couldn't find the answers outside of me. And that just shifted everything. So for example, And I like to put this example because a lot of times we think that when we have these aha moments, even if it's not a near death, even and if it's an awakening or a realization or a breakthrough through a breathwork session or whatever energy modality, it's really what we do with it or the integration aspect of it, right? Whether it's plant medicine or whatever else we're using. So I said, okay, so now with this newfound information, because you get information, but you don't really get the exact blueprint, right? There's no like, this is how, this is when, and this is who. I mean, you get some information, but not all the details. So there's that surrender and trust and faith part of aspect of the plan, right? And then I said, okay, so I started slowly working and transitioning. For example, right now I'm still in healthcare. I supervise 6 clinics, but my conversations with my patients have completely shifted. Like it's almost like a therapy session in itself. So it's not just like, okay, what are your meds? What's your history? This is the plan, the treatment plan we're doing. So it's a lot deeper than that now. And then I've had the opportunity to have that income to be able to build my soul aligned business alongside of that, right? So that, I could see the purpose in my day to day as a healthcare provider. But I also see, okay, so you're building up all this other brand, this other momentum, this other gifts that you're sharing with humanity with, your own journey. So that's the other Quantum Alchemist Master platform that I have. I had to find a way to share, this information with as many people as possible. And our idea is always to guide people within. It's all within. So what we do, all the guided meditations, the breathwork certifications we provide, all the stuff we do, our 90-day program, the Zebra Guided Self-Healing Method, is we go into the Akashic Records, we show you that, we show you how to access your subconscious mind, how to change and transform the trauma, the programming. We go into the quantum field, we look for the root cause, and we go through all timelines. We go past life, parallel life, we go into it's a whole, we go deep into that program. Because and it's up to everyone's perception. You can't take a horse to drink water. We can't force someone to see the world the way we see it, which there's a beauty in diversity. I think if we can grasp that and accept that and see it with loving eyes, is beautiful, because you are my teacher and I'm your student just as equal as we're the opposite of that. So it's really a beauty in seeing all of the infinite aspects of reality. Yeah, that 90-day program kind of came up with that. We're doing a lot of work now with 12-step program, which I'm very blessed to have come across someone who put me in contact with someone that knows 150 houses of 12-step program. So one of my goals is to get these programs for free, of course, into places where it's not easily accessible. Mental health facilities, rehab centers, prisons. So I'm speaking with someone now that's going to help me, and he has already been doing this work, but through meditation, getting it into prisons in New York. So it's nice. I want to, we're going to have a sit down and see how we can kind of roll out this program where we can get it into all the prisons, and just bring this awareness to people. Another very thing that I'm very passionate about is the 10-year peace treaty that I put out worldwide. It's a worldwide peace treaty. I did it in October of last year, since, all the war stuff really escalated and really has gotten out of hand. And that's one thing I really want to bring light to. We are creating our reality. It's really that simple. I mean, there's not much more to it, right? So it's what you can, it doesn't matter what's out there. It's, it doesn't matter if we have the programming, if we have certain external things, if we have life happening, how can we alchemize and transform that? That's okay. We're the alchemist. We are the ones that need to take what I call radical responsibility. And when I say responsibility, I always break it into two: response and ability. So our ability to respond to life, to circumstances, to things that happen to us. And I think the change starts with each one of us. It took me a long time to understand that, or to even come close to that, or say, oh, wait, so I can do something about it if I don't like it. Okay, That makes sense. And I've been doing that, with my health, with my mind, with my body, with my spirit. And just teaching others, not teaching, you know what? They already know it. It's just reminding them, I think. Um, that just look within. Everything is right there. It's just a remembrance of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, you've come across so many points that I know that you could relate to a lot of individuals. I do want to dive deep though into your NDE. The reason why, first of all, you're the first guest I've had to have that kind of experience. Um, do you remember your NDE?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Can you
hard to
go
forget.
can you go a little so here's why I asked, because I also had a near death experience, but I guess I was meant to forget. I was not meant to remember it. And so it's very interesting when I hear other stories and it's like, oh, okay. So tell me a little bit about yours.
Dive into that. I just want to point out to that. I I am able to remember whatever my higher self, my guide, source allowed me to remember, because so much more happened. And I have the notion that so much more happened that I was not allowed to retrieve and bring back. And one of those big ones is because there was a point where I spoke to God, and we'll go a little bit in order, and I'll backtrack. But I specifically asked about the suffering, the lack, the inequality, the war. Like I spoke to God with a lot of profanity, unfortunately, in Spanish, because I was very angry when this happened, because I was going through a lot in my life. Um, and and I know that he put his hand on my shoulder, and at that moment, I understood everything. However, I couldn't bring all of the answers back, which is okay. I just trust the process. I know it's happening for our higher good, for it's a process of evolution that we're all going through. However, I would have loved to bring everything back. Yes, you're right. I think it's whatever it's meant to bring back, but not all of it. Absolutely. I agree with that. So yeah, so I had recently been through divorce with my wife. And we took some time apart, and by now we were getting the hang of co-parenting and doing things, like kind of making it work. We were in a good place as friends, and just it was working out well. And she had some time to do her own inner work, which I think that was a huge thing for us. Like, she went and did her inner work, I did mine, and then we kind of like started sharing, right? And that's how we grow. Um, and we decided for her birthday, okay, let's go camping. We went to California, and what I remember that particular night is that it was the darkest night I've ever seen, and the sky looked different, and the stars looked different. And I noticed that, and I said, well, maybe it's because we're in the mountains. Of course, the sky is going to look different. The stars are going to look different. Obviously, I thought that, and then I we went to sleep. And at some point, all I can remember is I was like, it was between chills and sweat, but very, very pronounced, like just extreme cold and extreme sweat. And at some point, I remember being outside of my body and outside of the place where I was. And I was like, what, what is this? Like, this is weird. Like, what? That I had never had that happen to me before. And I was just looking at everything, and then I started to see sacred geometry everywhere, all around me, electromagnetic field, um, a lot of the Egyptian hieroglyphics, just everything. It is just sacred geometry all around us, everywhere. That we just, our five senses don't allow us, even our multi-sensory, our clairs and stuff like that. From time to time, we're able to, open the third eye and stuff, and grab information, but it was never as clear as that precise moment where everything has life, basically. Um, and I remember seeing that and just being very confused by all of it. I couldn't understand it from my logical mind. And then I remember having a thought, oh my God, did I die? As soon as I had that thought, it was like a vacuum, like like this void, like a vacuum pulled me. I was in this deep darkness. And in this deep darkness, I was what I call in my book, I describe it in more detail, like detail to detail. But what I could say as self-created hells, because I was in that state of mind when I was going through that. Like there was a lot of unforgiveness for myself, a lot of guilt, so it's like you judge yourself. I did not have the experience as being in an actual fiery place or God judging me. I never felt judgment from anyone outside of myself, basically. So it's just me, like how I could have been a better wife, a better mother, how I was leaving them behind, how I had things undone, like all these thoughts. Um, and then I was faced with all of my fears, all of them, like even fears I had no idea I had ever had. Like, for example, even a fear of clowns or a fear of certain animals or a fear of what, like all of these fears that I had no clue was afraid of any of this and to begin with. Um, and going through each of my fears face to face with them and being able to come out on the other side of that, it was kind of like a realization. The one that lasted the most was my self-guilt of and refusing to die. Like I did not accept I was dying. I wasn't having it. It couldn't be possible.
Question. I don't mean to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but what prompted this?
I don't know if it's so the only thing I can think of at that time, health wise, I was having issues with my pituitary. So I don't know if that had anything to do with that. I don't have an answer for that. The only
Oh,
thing
okay.
sensation wise I could feel was that change of body temperature that I can tell you. Um, and I don't know. I don't know what could have prompted that. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But that's what had happened.
Okay.
I got to a point where I was tired of fighting it. And I just said, okay, I guess I died. I mean, I don't have any other, what am I going to do? The moment I accepted that, um, I was taken into like a beautiful place. What I can describe as like being like inside the earth almost, type of feeling or like a sphere around me with energy. Um, and then I was sitting across Mother Earth. And then God came forward as well. And then I was very angry at God, unfortunately. And I was just saying all these profanities in Spanish to God. I was just like, anything you can possibly imagine as bad words in Spanish, I was just going at it. Like, da da da, because you da 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 da. And then God placed his hand on my shoulder. I remember that. And that's it. It was pure love, pure bliss, pure oneness, pure no judgment, just I have never felt anything in comparison here that I could from anyone. It's just it is unmatchable. Um, and there was no judgment, just very, very beautiful. And then I was able to see past life, parallel lives, a lot of the multiverse, a lot of my past incarnations. I've been from every race, every religion, every continent. We're all just one. There is no separation. It's just the illusion of it. And that I'm here to help. And then a lot of information as to, okay, this is what you're going to go back and do. Remember, blah, blah, blah. And all of these things and just this infinite love for everything, for everyone, for infinite compassion and forgiveness, even for myself and the things that I have done that have not been the best. Um, so yeah, it was just that understanding that we're all just one. That's I guess, and love is the answer. I don't know if that makes sense, or the frequency. It comes down to that. So I've done a lot of work as well with plant medicine. There's a big difference in my opinion, in my plant medicine trips versus the NDE that I had. On the NDE, I had a life review, and also I was able to see before incarnating that I chose my parents, my place of birth. That I so there's like a almost like a blueprint, and also a soul family blueprint that we're working on as a family that we're transitioning, and learning as well. And a lot of it, believe it or not, even if there's like abuse, XYZ, it's part of a bigger process that to the human mind is very hard to comprehend how you would choose that, or how that's even possible. But it's all a learning process for the soul, or a part of an evolution for the soul. So being able to see a lot of the pre-incarnation choices helped me understand, okay, and take responsibility as well. It's like, okay, so I chose a lot of these things, so that's good. That's got to be good. And yeah, a lot of the life review that I got, that was very beautiful. It led me to see things from a different perspective. And you could feel just everything that you felt, that the other person felt, that it was just you know just different aspects. So the NDE is a little bit different. It does have that life review. It does have that. I feel, I don't want to say deeper, because I don't want to take away from plant medicine, but they are different. So with plant medicine, what I've mostly been able to feel is the love, the no time, no space, the oneness, the connection to Mother Earth. But I don't want to say I haven't been able to break through something higher, but it's kind of stayed around that realm of experience. It has not encompassed as much as my NDE did, if it makes any sense.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, it's slightly different. I just think maybe the plant medicine journey also has opened my heart a lot. Maybe being able to comprehend, or go deeper, or see life a little bit different. I was at a place where I was like to my knees. I was open and ready, like, God, please give me a sign or something, because I'm done. So I don't know. I don't know if that, surrendering to that had anything to do with it. So yeah.
Absolutely. What a beautiful testimonial. I mean, I don't remember my NDE at all, but I definitely have a numerous amount of experience with plant medicine, and I can definitely relate to the experience of feeling that oneness and feeling that love, and being able to see things from a different perspective, because you're able to kind of leave your egoic mind, leave that chatter that happens from our day to day, and kind of just see it from a bird's eye view, and you're able to kind of see everything from the other side, is what I like to say. And what it sounds like to me is, because NDE was such a visceral experience for you, almost out of body, plant medicine is very much a grounding and a more integrative approach, um in order to feel the same thing. The experience might be a little different, but the end goal from both of them, it seems like you were just coming back into your oneness, coming back into your truth, that you are love, and everything that is in creation is love, and that fills you with love. And the only illusion is lack, and lack encompasses fear, separation, all of these different things that are separate from love. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So let me ask you something. What was the process for you after you came back from your near-death experience, and then integrating that the
Thank
next
you for
couple of days,
asking.
the next couple of weeks?
For the next 3 days, I had a lot of like vivid dreaming type of dreams, and a lot of bliss for everyone and everything. I couldn't see separation at all. I was just like, whatever. Like, even if someone insulted me, I would just been like, I love you. Like, it doesn't matter. um, I remember enjoying the simple things and the details. I was detailed to the texture of the wall, to the air, the things you would have never think that to put your focus on, the simplest things, like just the micro detail. That's my focus kind of shifted from this goal oriented towards material things to like whatever, like that doesn't even have any carry any weight on me anymore. So just a lot of the like seeing people smile, seeing people interact and uplift each other, just like almost like viewing life like from your avatar and just as the observer of you playing that movie type of situation, kind of, yeah, shifting from the other side like you said, uh, and looking at life that way. I had a lot more grace, compassion, and love for everyone and for myself, which I think we're a lot of the times, you know, we are the last ones to love ourselves, to forgive ourselves, to believe in ourselves. um so I had a lot, most definitely a lot more of that. Integration of what happened, I'm still integrating it. Like, let's just say that I am still integrating it. I have not been able to work with plant medicine at the macro doses since then. I've been able to work in micro and non-psychedelic. Like for right now, I'm on Bobine Sana. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
so and I've been able to work with mushrooms and aya in a micro dose level, but I have not feel called for a macro dose again after that. um which is fine. Potato, potato, it's no big deal. Whatever works for everybody is good. It's just me and my personal experience. Like the integration is still happening for me, so I have not been able to have that amount of, been able to sit again, you know, at that level, I guess, of, because I'm still integrating everything that has happened to me. I'm still in a whole process. So I'm just taking it easy, very slowly, baby stepping, learning everything, learning from plants. Like they are my biggest teachers. It's like there's so much to learn from plants that I'm just like, my God, how is this not out there? Like, you know, uh, so just learning, getting, I have a lot of wonderful teachers as well that are shaman, medicine, women, stuff like that, that I can count on them as I go, right? They've been in the journey for a long time. They come from a certain lineage and they understand this very much, much more than I do at this capacity. So being able to be like, oh, this happened to me. Has this happened to you? And like, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So how does this work? And oh, okay. So kind of like, trying to understand and integrate, but I'm still in integration. I'm literally, there's so much I'm still trying to unfold and comprehend. So yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I can imagine it takes a little bit of time, especially for an experience of that amount. Um, okay, so now let's go into, so I know that you've created the zebra healing method, right? And what was your intention going in creating this? And what is the intention and what is the intention for it for our guests or for our listeners, if they were to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to put everything in it. What can I get out of it?
Thank you for saying that. So actually the zebra method came to me while I was sleeping. I started to see kind of like my third eye started opening. I started seeing sacred geometry and stuff like that. And it was just all, okay, the zebra method. And then all of the information and just came forward. And I woke up, tried to write as much as I could down, try to record, try to get all the information. And I was like, okay, so how am I going to structure it? And then slowly over the course of a year, they have given me the exact instructions as to, okay, this is how you do it, this is how it's going to work, etc. Basically what we do is our first session we go very in depth as to childhood, relationship with your father, with your mother, so that we can kind of tailor the session specifically to you. Once we get into that, we go into every session, we pick 3 blocks, patterns, habits, emotions, whatever it is that you want to work on. We pick those 3. that we want to work on. And we go and I ask for permission to open your Akashic Records at that point. Mine are open when I'm doing the sessions as well. We do a guided meditation that they gave me exactly how to take you, where to take you, because it has to be very specific. And in this particular case, for you to be able to access this, we come in contact with your higher self, your guides, your own team, and yourself, your own subconscious mind. And from there, I say we just because I'm there supporting you through the process, because I do it so much. And we retrieve everything that we need for you. You have all the answers inside of you. So after we do this kind of work for 90 days, you're like, oh, okay, so I got it. I can do this too by myself. Okay, and now you know how to do it. So you kind of always keep that with you so that you learn how to access it yourself. You're stuck, you're in a block, you want to change something. The answers are within you. So now you know how to kind of backtrack the map, go back and grab the answers and get what you need to do from your own source within you. Right? So the idea is for you not to need me after the 90 days. You got this. Okay. So that's kind of what we work through. And the results, to me, it doesn't feel like work. I'm in awe. Like, oh my God, your higher self said that. That is so cool. Nice. And then like, I'm in constant learning with what comes through the sessions. So, and it's also a reflection of me, because there are no coincidences, right? Why we're doing the session with this person, because it also has to do with my own life and how I can make it better and how I can improve it. So it's like all of us just growing and learning together and lifting each other up. It fills my soul to do that kind of work. So yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. The intention is for people to learn how to do it themselves, because you already know how to do this. We're maybe just busy with kids, with work, with bills, with stuff that we rarely take an hour to quiet down and go within, right? And also, believe it or not, what I've experienced, and it might trigger some people when they hear me say this, but I've given away things for free in the past that have so much value. If you really go through it, there's tons and tons of value. Like I'm gifting your audience something today. Like there's tons of value in that if you decide to do it. But a lot of the times, because it's free, you'll choose not to do it, which is fine. You're always in free will. But could you have done that? There could have been a breakthrough for you, right? But because it's free, you're like, I'm not going to invest time and money in that. But now you're paying me for 90 days. So now you're like, okay, so now I'm paying. Now I'm going to commit. Now I'm going to do the work. And now I'm really going to do it. So I do give away scholarships every breathwork event that I do. So I gave 2 scholarships in the past breathwork event that we had just this past Saturday in Miami Beach. And after we do sharing circle, our sharing circles are very different because every person is a leader in our circle. They're not the participants. At the end, so one person will say something about their experience, and whoever wants to give feedback and be the mirror of that person, they will give some feedback to that person. And they're also the teachers of that person. So it's not just me there that's why it's a circle, because we all have wisdom. We all have a journey. We all have walked a certain path. We all can bring wisdom into the space. And the transformation that happens in those breathwork events, I'm just like, I cry like a baby. I'm just like, oh my God, I can't. It's so beautiful, and it is because all of us decided to come together, because we left the egos, the persona, aside for a little bit, even if it's for the time that we're in that event. There's no separation in race, no separation in religion, nothing. And I love that in the circles, we speak about everybody's view of God is different. But what I always emphasize is, what are the qualities of God? Who cares how it looks, how you name it? But what are the qualities, right? Love, compassion, helping another, helping the sick, like whatever it is, like it's the qualities that matter, or the intention that matters, right? So kind of coming from that, I don't know if I answered or got carried away. I don't even know.
Well, yeah, I love how you articulated that. And I just want to go back real quick, because I'm always telling my listeners and just my audience and clients in general, we who provide the service of guiding you back into your healing, they may call us healers, but we're not healing you. We're not healing them. We're just facilitating the process and bringing them back into the remembrance of how to heal themselves. And what that happens, and the reason why that is necessary is because, one, we cut out the cord of codependency where they're constantly coming back, oh my God, I need your help, I need your help, I need your help. And it empowers them back into taking that sense of self-responsibility into doing the work themselves. And because I was raised Cuban myself, I'm not Cuban, but I was adopted by a Cuban family. So a lot of the phrases and sayings, the los dichos que you were saying, I was like, oh, I remember that. You can't take a horse to the water and make them drink. You can just simply guide them there. And if they choose to drink, then they choose to drink. And we're just the walkers. We're just there. And so I love that. I love that so much, that that's the process that you are providing for them, because there is a lot in this space I've seen where there are spiritual guides and leaders who almost want other people to look up to them and to depend on them. And what happens is that now it's just their spiritual ego, their ego kind of like clings onto that, and it just really does a disservice, because the truth is every single one of us can do this ourselves. And I love that. I love that. So I'm going to put all of that information on how to work with her, the gift that she's providing to all of you guys that will be listening to this and watching this. I'm going to go ahead and provide that all in the show notes so that you guys have easy access and a clickable link. Rosalia, I have a couple of last questions for you. This was a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much. These 3 questions I usually ask all of my guests. What does life mean specifically for you?
Life means love. I think my answer to all of your questions are probably going to be love. I don't know what they are going to be. Because that to me encompasses everything. To me, it's just the love that we give, the love that we receive. We are just the frequency and the energy of love having this experience. So life for me is just a symphony of love, or the frequency of love, experiencing itself in infinite forms.
Beautiful. Okay. So what is next for you? What's coming up for you? I know that you have a book now, and you said that now you're writing a second book. Is that what's next?
My second book is out. I am writing my third book. It is going to be called The Infinite I, Consciousness Becoming Aware of Itself. But that's in the works. What's next is I want to expand into this program, not the 90-day, a different program that I have, into retreat centers worldwide, into prisons, into mental health facilities, rehab centers, 12-step programs. So I am diligently working to make that happen. And I have some good connections. If anybody's listening to this and you have some sort of way of helping me make this happen, someone, maybe you're in charge of something that can help me get this into spaces like this for free, there is no charge. Please contact me in the show notes. You guys are going to have the info how to do it.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I will also incorporate the peace treaty, the 10-year world peace treaty, into the show notes, because that is so aligned with me. And I know it's going to be extremely aligned with Mother Earth. And so with that being said, we are going to definitely have you have the link in the show notes so that you guys can go ahead and sign that petition. Thank you so much for that. Rosalia, do you have any final words for our audience today?
Take some time to look within. Everything you're looking for outside is inside yourself. You have all the answers. You're divine. You are loved and worthy as you are.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Rosalia. It was so much fun meeting you. It was so much fun learning your story and connecting with you. And just thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for doing the work. Because I know it gets hard, but you stuck through it. And we are so grateful for the gifts that you are bringing forth into the world. And every single person listening to this, I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation just as much as we did. And I hope everyone has a beautiful and wonderful day. Until next time.